This is David Smith for the LODE community. We're here at Anarchapulco conference. We're talking to G. Edward Griffin, who's a legend in his own time, and we're going to get some ideas from him to see how he feels things are going and why he came here this year. Ed.
I didn't know I was a legend, but thank you.
What really drew you here this year in terms of coming here to speak and the message that you had to present?
Well, I was invited to come here to speak. Otherwise I probably wouldn't have stumbled across. You know, this is not really in my mainstream world. But when I've been here before. So when they invited me this year, I thought, boy, I met some great people there last time. You know, free thinkers, and they think a lot like me. So naturally, I'm a kind of a crusader guy. You know, my crusader gene kicks in, and I want to reach out to a lot of people. So I thought that if I came here and accepted their hospitality, I could get an audience, find a bigger audience for what I'm trying to do, and I learn something every time I come here. So it works both ways. And what I'm trying to do is just something minor, like save the world. You know, save it from the collectivist monster that's consuming it right now. By collectivism, I mean this idea that the group is more important than the individual, and the individual must be sacrificed if necessary for the greater good or the greater number. That idea has infected the whole world, and it's the justification that the elites use to say, well, we represent the people, you know. Well, we'll protect the people against these individuals like you and me, who have these crazy ideas like freedom. So anyway, I'm here to express my views and encourage people to look beneath the surface of the news and understand that there's an ideology beneath all of this, and that we've got to awaken the consciousness of the average person throughout the world that this is a life and death battle between this concept of collectivism, subjection of the individual, and the other concept of individualism, which is that the individual is the cornerstone of society. And if you can protect the rights of the individual, that is the way you create the greater good for the greater number.
That's amazing. And you know, your seminal work about the Federal Reserve and how it's corrupted our monetary system, and you know, we have read your book over the years and thought about it, and you're one of the inspirations for our creation of the AGX Coin and the LODE project, which seeks to transfer the use of silver as real, honest money back to the people instead of the paper promises that David Morgan talks about, which are these paper fiat in our pocket that are degraded year by year by inflation and by government excess printing.
Yes.
And we set you up a little while ago with some AGX Pay on your phone, and you haven't had a chance to use it yet, but what do you think about that as a potential for doing something like that, bringing honest money back to the people instead of being reliant on money that's continually degraded in value?
Well, we must do that, because if we don't do that, then freedom eventually is going to be snuffed out. Because freedom depends on independence. You have to be independent of authority, independent of other forces that compel you to do things that you don't want to do. And the only way you can be independent is you have to have property. Money is the most visible expression of property. It's your property. It's a storehouse of value of your life savings, your earnings, the things you have built and created. So without property and without money as an expression of property, you have no means to defend yourself against the state or some large corporate structure or others. In other words, you have to depend for your shelter, your food, your medical care, your education, all of these things. If you depend on others for that, and they give you the money and tell you how much the money is worth and all that, how much you get and so forth, then you are their slave. So it's a big concept, but this is where your issue comes into play. Money, whether it is digital money, whether it's currency on paper or gold or silver, it has to be outside of that control. And the only way it can be outside of that control, in my view, is if it's a hard, tangible thing or a document that is backed up by something that is people have made with their own effort. It has to come from human effort. Gold and silver happen to be that thing that societies throughout history have always selected. Nobody told them to do it, but all around the world, eventually through trial and error, they've all come to gold and silver. There's a reason for that. So when you say a cryptocurrency that is backed by hard assets like that, it rings a good solid bell with me, maybe even a silver bell.
Oh, we really, really appreciate your involvement here and talking about it. And is there anything else you'd like to add before we close? Anything at all that you want to mention or you feel?
Well, no, I think that's pretty much the issue. I've probably spoken more than I should have on this issue because I'm very much a student. People look to me as the big expert, on money, and I'm not. I just happen to know a little more than most people, but an expert is a guy that's read 2 books. But I'm still learning about, especially the crypto aspect of it. I pretty well understand the history of money and its traditional forms, the receipt concept and the commodity concept and all of that, the fiat concept. But along comes cryptocurrency. This is brand new to me. So I'm still very much in the learning phase. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you.
Okay, bye-bye.
Thank you.